Halloween Ends is literally days away, and what better way to mark the occasion of the upcoming Halloween movie than by talking about the final girls in Halloween. This is a franchise of possibly the most well-known final girl of all time, as well as some others. So in this video I'm going to rank from worst to best the Halloween final girls. I just want to say, for all of you Lindsay fans out there, Lindsay will not be on the list, and the reason is because Lindsay, for me, I'm counting this as people who get to the end with Michael, get to the end fight with Michael. So while I really like Lindsay, I think she's one of the best parts of Halloween Kills, she won't be in the list. She had a really cool scene with Michael, but she didn't make it to the end. She's not necessarily what I call a final girl. And just before we start, don't forget to subscribe to this channel to join the Movie Geek family. We talk about Halloween a lot on this channel. We talk about horror. We talk about other Movie Geek content. We talk about all sorts of stuff. If you're interested in geeking out over movies, it's well worth pressing that subscribe button. So coming in at last place on the list at number 7 is Sarah Moyer from Halloween Resurrection. Actress Bianca Kazlich really didn't stand a chance because she's in Halloween Resurrection, which many people would agree is a load of old Michael Myers poop. It would be on most people's worst movie in the Halloween franchise list. It's a really bad movie, and Sarah doesn't really make an impression. I can see what they were going for with Sarah. She's supposed to be another Laurie Strode. She's not supposed to be like everyone around her. Everyone around her is crazy, going for it, wild, wants to seek thrills. But in Halloween Resurrection, she's the one who doesn't really want to be there. She's the fish out of water. She's the normal person. This is basically Laurie if Laurie was boring. This is basically Laurie if she was played by a bland actress with not much to do. And her fights with Michael Myers were pretty cringe.
Look at me, I'm shaking in my little space boots.
We did have a unique chase with Michael. No one really faced down Michael Myers in his own house. Like, she's facing Michael Myers in his own gaff, taking it to him. But other than that, she's just very unmemorable. She's not well written, the movie around her is terrible, so Sarah is definitely last place on the list. Played by Marianne Hagen, this is a baffling character. There's no reason for Cara Strode to exist. It's like to just bring in another member of Laurie Strode's family. It's like, we haven't got Laurie Strode. Halloween's going down the shitter now after Halloween 5. Let's bring back a member of Laurie's family, just with the surname Strode. She feels like she doesn't know what the hell was going on. She looks perplexed for the entire movie. And she looks like her soul's dying every moment she's on screen in Halloween 6. It's almost like she just stumbled onto this set and went, screw it, I need a job. It's so strange how they just got rid of Jamie Lloyd in Halloween 6 and of course went to a Strode. There was no need to eliminate Jamie Lloyd. The weird thing about Halloween 6 and also Halloween 5 before it is they felt the need to eliminate great characters in favour of something that isn't as good as those characters. They're already just shooting themselves in the foot. So, you know, Marianne Hagan as Cara Strode, she didn't really stand a chance because everyone loved Jamie. Everyone wanted Jamie to survive. And you just shoot yourself in the foot by giving us a less likeable, less effective character when we've already got attached to the character before. It doesn't really make sense. It just shows that a lot of the people writing the Halloween franchise weren't thinking like that. They weren't writing for fan base. They were just trying to throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. I feel for her plight a bit more because her son is being chased by Michael Myers and she wants to help her son, and she has a really horrible arsehole piece of garbage stepdad, so you feel bad for her there.
Before you came around, everything was going fine till you landed on our doorstep. You and that little bastard of yours.
Yeah, and you're ugly.
We should like her more, but we just don't get invested. And that's a shame. She just didn't deliver. Laurie Strode from Rob Zombie's Halloween and Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, played by Scout Taylor Compton. It's difficult to put her on this list because of course she's not really Laurie Strode. Like, she's not. She's Jamie Lee Curtis's Laurie Strode. Scout Taylor Compton, again, it's kind of like Marianne Hagen in Halloween 6. She didn't really stand a chance because people weren't going to accept her. I think she's the best she could be of replacing such an iconic final girl. The most iconic final girl. She's not really like Laurie from Halloween 1978. She's not really like Jamie Lee Curtis's Laurie, and that's probably a good thing. It's probably a good thing that they completely just went for something different. She's a fun, likeable teenager. She has a set of pipes on her. She's a decent screamer. She looks, like she conveys being in peril well. She is convincing. She has some decent chases with Michael. It's just the whole thing around her is pointless. And you're just like, why am I seeing a new Laurie Strode? Why am I seeing a new Halloween with Rob Zombie butchering Halloween? Like, you don't want to see it. But just based on her performance, Scout Taylor Compton is decent. I think in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, she got to showcase herself a bit more. She had more moments where she required more range. They kind of went the trauma direction in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 way before Halloween 2018, and we saw the darker effects of the trauma on Laurie. We got some crazy outburst moments of Scout Taylor Compton in Halloween 2 from Rob Zombie, and she's quite good in them. Your heart goes out to her because you can see how much he's messed her up inside, because it's, even though she's being abusive and horrible and she's freaking out, it's a depiction of mental illness, how trauma really can send you around the twist and make you do things that you clearly don't want to do. What I like about the performance is she's clearly not that person. We know what Laurie is really like, but this trauma has made her horrible. This trauma has made her aggressive and uncaring, and she's losing her humanity because of the person who abused her, and that's devastating. And she puts her all in. That's what you have to respect. And she has some decent chase scenes with Michael Myers. She puts her all in as Laurie Strode. You can't say she didn't try. It's not like Marianne Hagen where she's not interesting at all. It's not like Sarah from Halloween Resurrection where she's just boring. She's not boring. She just doesn't really belong in the Halloween franchise, but the effort is definitely there. So Allison is played by Andi Matichak, and I actually think she has an advantage in the list because people are interested in the generations of trauma, how it would affect Laurie's daughter, but how would it affect Laurie's granddaughter? And you know what? I've grown more affection for Allison as a character. I've grown more affection for Halloween 2018 as a movie. I still don't like Halloween Kills at all. But Halloween 2018, I think it's decent. I think there's some decent stuff in there. I still don't love it. It's not my vision for Halloween. But if we can make Halloween Ends more like Halloween 2018, I'll be more satisfied. I feel like the genuine moments with her and Laurie, where only she can really comfort Laurie, because she hasn't got that judgmental nature that Karen's got towards Laurie. She genuinely cares about Laurie. It's got that kind of idea that sometimes the grandmother and the granddaughter are more close than the grandmother to her own daughter. I kind of like how she looks like she's going to be in Halloween Ends. I think there could be some decent ways to go in Halloween Ends, how all of this transfers on Allison. I think Andi Matichak's chase scene with Michael in Halloween 2018 through the woods with that monumental new John Carpenter score is up there with some of the greatest scenes of the franchise. It's possibly the best scene in the new Halloween franchise. It's stunning, and she'll be remembered for that. That's her kind of scene, her main scene with Michael Myers, plus her grabbing the knife at the end of Halloween 2018. She'd always be remembered for the ending, and I think Andi Matichak's a good actress. I'm interested in what they do with her in Halloween Ends. Number 4 is Karen Nelson, or Karen Strode, played by Judy Greer from Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills. Yes, I like Karen. There, I said it. I don't understand the Halloween fanbase hatred for this character. For me, she's the only one with a brain in these new Halloween films. Look, I know that she's kind of mean to Laurie in Halloween 2018, but you know what? If you've been brought up like this, you wouldn't relate to your mother very well. There's no reason to think Michael would escape. You would be angry that you wasted your childhood with this kind of life. You really would. So I kind of relate to the character of Karen all through this. I understand her. I think she has a really cool moment in Halloween 2018 where she tricks Michael.
Help us! I can't do it! I'm sorry, I can't do it! Gotcha.
It's Karen realising that her whole childhood did mean something, and it's Karen reconnecting with her mother and regaining that confidence to face down Michael. Halloween Kills, she's by far the most likeable character in the film. You know, and the Halloween fans who hate Karen, I don't get it. Everyone in Halloween Kills is a raving bloody lunatic. They're all a bunch of absolute pumpkins in their brain. They really, really are. Karen is the only one trying to protect and stop this hospital. People running after each other, tripping over each other, falling down balconies and stairs and running and frantic and da-da-da-da. She's the only one trying to get through to these people and to rescue this patient. She's the only one. And we should like her. If we're going to sit here and have a go at the film and say, oh, evil dies tonight, all that bullshit, but we don't like Karen, that makes no sense. Because Karen is the only one with a brain, only one who's rational and wants to actually think things through in Halloween. That's why she's so far up the list in this. I really do think Karen is the most likeable character in Halloween Kills. Kill me. And I actually think the idea of Karen is quite cool. I prefer her in a way to John Tate from Halloween H2O, because it was the same sort of character, but Karen was kind of becoming the parent to Laurie more than John was the parent to Laurie in Halloween H2O, and it was a decent kind of paradox there where she was kind of ashamed of her mother and felt like she had to parent her. It was an interesting idea of how trauma can create that, and an interesting idea of how you can end up treating your family badly when they've been through trauma and they need support because you're embarrassed of them, or you want them to get over it. It was a very interesting discussion of that, and I think Judy Greer does well to convey the frustration with Laurie, but also the love that she has deep down for Laurie. Number 3 is Jamie Lloyd, played by Danielle Harris in Halloween 4 and Halloween 5. She is in Halloween 6, but she's played by a different actress. Let's stick to Halloween 4 and 5. Danielle Harris provides one of the best child performances I've ever seen. She really is so authentic and so genuine and so professional at that age. It's a great child performance. It really is. You instantly like this character of Jamie. You instantly feel like you're along for the ride and you want her to be happy and you want her to have a happy life. It's not just a gimmick that Jamie's a child. It really isn't. You genuinely feel empathy and sympathy for her, and it's Danielle Harris' performance that's a testament to that. It's not just cheap, which it could have been, having a child in the role. No, it's Danielle Harris as Jamie that you feel sorry for, not just because she's a child. She's a young girl who's trying to process losing her family, living with a foster family, building a relationship with a foster sister, and then this looming spectre from her past, who is literally the boogeyman. You know, I really thought Halloween 4 had a bit of a stroke of genius of making Michael Myers literally the boogeyman, because the boogeyman haunts children's dreams, and what does Michael do in Halloween 4? He's haunting Jamie, he's haunting a child, he's the literal boogeyman. And it makes it even more exciting and even more terrifying that he's going after a little child. He's the embodiment of evil. He wants to kill a child. I think she sees Michael Myers with possibly the most fear of any of the final girls. Again, because she's a child, but because of her reactions. You know, she's genuinely haunted by Michael Myers. But as she's a child, she's naive, and because she knows that Michael's her uncle, there is a kind of interesting idea that she, in a way, loves and wants to know about her uncle, like at the end of Halloween 4 when she holds his hand. It's kind of like what a child would do, and you know, in Halloween 5 where she tries to talk to him for a brief moment before he's going to kill her, like, it's what a child would do. Like, she doesn't end up playing an adult in a child's body. Even though she's forced to grow up and be tough and be courageous, she is still a child. She has the childlike tendencies. And it's interesting because Michael can have this strange effect on her where he's the most terrifying thing she's ever seen, but at the same time he's still her uncle. And that's an interesting kind of paradox there where she has a slight part of him that feels some affection. I just think it's fantastic that this franchise managed to find another final girl just as strong as Laurie Strode. It's so hard to do in slasher franchises. Once you've got ready your main final girl, to have someone who stands up to that original final girl. You know what? Halloween has quite a few, and Jamie Lloyd is one of them. I'm putting Rachel at number 2, and that is the biggest compliment I can give this character. You know, that I'm putting her over Jamie Lloyd. should show you how much of an impression Ellie Cornell as Rachel made in just one Halloween film. She's in one film, guys, and she made an unbelievable impression. She was basically Laurie Strode with more dimension, with more character, with more edge, with more getting to know her. But she was such a normal, genuine girl. She was one of the most normal girls I've ever seen on film, where you just felt like she was a friend of yours. She just had such a good heart. You wanted to see Rachel do well. She was struggling to adjust with having a new foster sister, and she wasn't flawless. She was selfish in moments, but then she felt bad, and she tried to make amends, and she's trying to build a sister relationship with Jamie throughout the film, and she puts her life on the line for Jamie. Jamie is not even her flesh and blood, and she's risking her life all through this for Jamie. In the face of this terrifying spectre of Michael Myers, she is sacrificing herself for Jamie. It just makes her so incredibly likeable and such a courageous character with so much good in her. And again, characters with the most good in them are best up against Michael Myers, because it really is good versus evil. Never more so than with Rachel versus Michael Myers have we seen good versus evil in this franchise.
Die. Son of a bitch!
Started off where it was kind of Jamie didn't know whether Rachel viewed her as her sister, and Rachel proves it. Of course, Rachel has one of the best scenes being chased by Michael Myers in the franchise, and that's a great qualifier of a final girl. Of course, where she's climbing up on the roof with Jamie in Halloween 4. That scene is still tense as hell to this day, and Ellie Cornell's performance is great in it. She can see how terrified she is, but can see how brave she is. I wish we could somehow see Ellie Cornell come back to this franchise. You know, maybe they could have just cast her in Halloween Kills as a character called Rachel from the neighbourhood, whatever it is, because Rachel is so beloved and made such a mark in Halloween 4. And in Halloween 5, they completely and utterly took a gigantic Jeff Goldblum describing dump from Jurassic Park on her. Just incredible how they killed her in a few minutes. Once again, shooting themselves in the foot, getting rid of one of the most likeable characters.
That is one big pile of shit.
And number one, the ultimate Halloween franchise final girl. Let me know your picks in the comments below, but of course, it has to be... It's Laurie Strode, played by Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween 1, Halloween 2, Halloween H2O, Halloween 2018, Halloween Kills, and it will be in Halloween Ends. Is there any other final girl out there with so many appearances and versions of her in the same franchise? She's got so many versions of her, Laurie, but every time you see her, you're happy to see her back, you're interested by the version and vision of Laurie, and you get a different side of Laurie every time you see her. Look, I might not necessarily be in love with Halloween 2018, but I can't fault Jamie Lee's performance. I might not be in love with Halloween Kills, but I can't really fault her dedication to performance, even if her dialogue was pants. In the first Halloween, Laurie Strode is so earnest and so charming, and Jamie Lee really does have a sparkle in her eye as an actress. She really does, but she completely nails the ultimate normal girl in this. There's nothing you can point at in the character of Laurie Strode that you don't like. There's nothing to dislike about her. It's a true good versus evil story, and it's a true normal neighbourhood being invaded, normal person's life being invaded. That's what Laurie represented, and that's why Laurie can keep being reinvented, because the idea of Laurie is the exact opposite of Michael Myers. She's the world, you know, she's the best of the world, who doesn't deserve what's going on with her, and who better to come against the ultimate force of evil. Who else we're going to root for more than the ultimate normal person with the best intentions?
What's the boogeyman?
As a matter of fact, it was.
I actually think my favourite performance of Laurie is in Halloween H2O. I must say, I think Jamie Lee Curtis put her all in. And I think this version of Laurie, where she's dealing with the trauma of what happened but she's trying to be a mum, she's trying to hold down a job, she's trying to be an example, she's trying. I like More Than Halloween 2018. That version has its place, and I'll talk about that in a second. But this is the version of Trauma where you're trying to move on. Maybe you're lying to yourself, but you're getting little victories along the way. You know, you're getting a partner, you're getting a son, you're getting this and that, and you're just about to keeping it together. So the interesting thing about H2O was, what moment was she going to break apart? You know, she really was holding up this image of herself and fighting to get over this. But I thought that was interesting to watch, and I think Jamie Lee was very convincing in it. One thing you can say about Jamie Lee, I do think that she has milked this franchise a lot, but every time she comes back to Laurie, her dedication to Laurie and her belief in the version of Laurie she's giving you in that moment is always paramount. You know, she really cares about this character. I think both versions are legit. I think you'll find people who, you know, are like Laurie in H2O, where they just about hold it together but they fall apart in certain moments, and people who genuinely are a mess. And you know, lots of people are a mess, and I think for me to sit here and say the version of Laurie in Halloween 2018 isn't realistic because she would have got over it by now, I think that's incredibly unsympathetic and incredibly cold, because trauma affects people in different ways. One thing can happen in a day that you never get over, and that's what happens. You can see there's really a scared little girl behind this hardened wall of a person, and it's about that huge wall that trauma can build up, that you've just shut yourself in. You know, you're behind that wall and everything else is outside, and you're just protecting yourself constantly the only way you know how. And this is where you have so many different versions of Laurie fighting Michael and coming at him from a different angle, but every time he doesn't care. And that's the interesting dynamic that I think keeps bringing us back to Laurie and Michael's relationship. And Jamie Lee's confrontations with Michael in Halloween 1 and 2 are some of the best final girl moments ever, because it's pretty much some of the first time you were seeing this, at least in a mainstream way, of the girl running away from the killer. And the genuine distress and emotion that Jamie Lee shares. In Halloween 2018, she of course gets her daughter and her granddaughter out of the basement and burns Michael Myers, finally pulling her daughter and grandchild out of the kind of mental basement that she's created, the hell they've been living in, the family, pulling them out of there and putting Michael into his true position. Laurie owning Michael and punishing him. How in the name of God is Laurie going to kill Michael? We have seen every single thing with this character. We've seen electrocution, we've seen burning, we've seen shooting, we've seen decapitation. Whatever happens to Michael, we're going to be like, well, we've seen him take that. Unless they're going to turn around and say, well, that was in the other continuity, so whatever we do to him here, you have to believe it. You just have to believe it. Sorry, mate. Who do you think is the best Halloween final girl? What would your order be of the Halloween final girls? And let me know what you think of my list in the comments below. Halloween Ends is just around the corner. Are you excited? Are you cautiously optimistic like me? Let me know in the comments. Subscribe today to join the Movie Geek family. Thank you for watching, everyone. Check out another Halloween video on the screen now, and I will see you guys next time.